Hello everyone, welcome. Today we'll be looking into Vincent Kompany aggressive formation and its setup in Football Manager 2026 into how he has been setting up his team to be a winning nation. And you have to understand that this style of play, which is the 2-2-6 formation, isn't actually the starting formation. It is just the shape of the formation during attacking phases. And this style of play consists of two center backs providing cover in terms of defending the defensive line, and you have two defensive midfielders circulating possession and as well helping with cover, providing cover. And then you have six players, which are the fullbacks and your wingers and your attacking midfielder with a striker who, whose main job is just simply to overload and pin the opposition in their defensive lines. So today we'll be taking a look into this setup and how from the build up and the shape and instruction to out of position, shape and instruction. So um Bayern, like I said earlier, don't start with this shape right from kickoff. Instead, it's a shape that they use during attacking phases. And in this shape, we have the fullback pushing high and wide, creating overloads in the flanks and half spaces. And also, we have a player like Kane, who is a striker, dropping down to midfield, thereby giving the opposition centre backs the dilemma of whether to follow up or not, which can lead to confusions, and having the wingers and wing backs utilize them. When I mean utilize them, I mean those spaces that have been left behind by Kane by drawing the opposition defenders out of their position. And all these fluid rotations can actually cause overloads and can lead to Bayern creating a lot of space doing build up due to everyone pushing the opposition defenders back and up high, which can lead to creation of goal scoring chances and opportunities. Okay, and one of the things you have to understand is that Vincent Kompany actually likes to trap his opponents in their own half. So technically, he makes use of a very high line. He makes use of fluid rotation, like Kane dropping down to midfield, Olise moving into attacking role, or even coming down to midfield, central midfield areas. And sometimes you see Kane at the flank area or even down up to your six. Okay. His team tends to make use of the flank and tend to utilize the half spaces and stretch the pitch as much as possible. And the central space up front tends to be empty just because Kane and Gnabry tends to fall back, thereby creating overload in the midfield area. Because when Kane and Gnabry falls back to the central midfield, it tends to create a situation whereby Bayern tends to outnumber the opposition in both midfield areas. And this can lead to high turnout of possession for Bayern because Bayern actually presses high and aggressive and they tend to make use of a man-to-man press. Okay, so today we'll be going straight down, we'll be diving straight to the tactical setup in terms of in possession setup. And for your in possession setup, in the striking role, which we'll be starting with, we'll leave Kane as a first nine. The reason I went for a first nine is because actually initially during the test I actually tried using this deep line forward and I wasn't getting the result I needed. But with the first nine, he tends to fall back to midfield as often as possible in a typical Kane fashion. And for your attacking midfielder, we decided to go with the advanced playmaker in this position. And then for your two wingers, we decided to go for the wide forward. I think this wide forward is similar to the inverted forward in the previous FM. Okay, they said as with the winger, the wide forward is expected to provide width throughout the attack so as to stretch the opponent's defense and attack from near the sidelines. So that's similar with your inverted wingers in the previous version. Okay, that's both on the left and the right hand side, wide forward. Then in your defensive midfield area, on the right we have Kimmich, and for Kimmich we decided to go with the deep line playmaker in order to rotate and build up possession and the rest. Okay, in these other aspects, we went for that on the left hand side. We went for the thing that it should be the box to box. Forgive me, I'm still getting used to the new short forms or new short names. Okay, the box to box playmaker. This particular playmaker will need him to bomb forward and also act as goal threat as well, going as high as here for him. And for Kane, which we gave the first nines, most times you see him fall back to this area. Okay, as for Kimmich, okay, that's all for defensive midfielders. Then for your fullbacks, we decided to go for wing backs in both direction because we need them both here and here. So wing backs. Okay, as for your central defenders, we decided to go with ball playing defenders, guys, center backs in both left and right. And then for your goalkeeper, we decided to go for the ball playing keeper, which is typical Manuel Neuer. Okay, so that's that for in possession. Then in your out of possession, we should be attending to now. I decided to go for goalkeeper Manuel Neuer as sweeper keeper, so he can come off his line and be proactive as well. Now to stop opposition counter attack or long balls. And for your two defenders, center defenders, we decided to go for two center backs just to win back the ball. And for your two fullbacks, we decided to go with pressing fullbacks because we need them pressing up and high. And that's up here. For your two defensive midfielders, we decided to go for pressing defensive midfielders because we want them to step forward from position to support the team press high up the pitch. Because like I said earlier, Vincent Kompany team is a pressing team, a high pressing team, and they tend to pin the opposition in their own half. That's the opposition half. Okay, for your two wingers, we decided to go for tracking wingers. I think that should be tracking wingers in order to support the defense, to support the pressing fullback. Oh yeah, both left and right. Then this way it gets tricky because now in out of possession, like you can see, we're actually making use of a 4-4-2 formation in out of possession. And for this, Gnabry, who in possession was actually number 10, will tend to change to a tracking center forward. his job is to track back and support defense. So that's just it for him. Then because we need him falling back, tracking, and as well be ready for counter attacks as well. And then for Kane, who was from in possession aspect, was a false nine. In out of possession, we decided to leave him as a center forward because we don't need him. We need someone up front in order to score all the goals and be ready for counter-attacking opportunities or loose balls. Okay, so like you can see, when combined, you can see it looks like a 4-4-2, or you can see it still looks like a 4-2-3-1. Let's see for both. It's for both, yeah. Okay, so we're done with that. So let's go to the attacking, to the mentality. In mentality, we decided to go for the attacking mentality. They say this mentality is best employed for matches where the team are heavy favorites to win, or in situations whereby the team needs to start taking more risks in order to find a goal. And as we all know, Vincent Kompany team is a team that tends to take more risks in order to find goals. Okay, so we're done with that. So now we'll go to team instructions. Okay, before we go to team instructions, you can see the visualizer in possession. In doing build up phase, we can see in progression, you can still see. Then in final third, you can see how congested it is over here. Okay, then in out of possession, the team tends to look like a it tends to look like a 5 at the back that's doing the low block. And doing mid block looks like a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1 kind of formation. Okay, and then during the high press, you get your 4-2-2-2. Okay, so that's that. Okay, for team instruction in possession, passing directness, we decided to go for shorter pass. Tempo, we decided to go for higher tempo in order to fasten the pace of our attack. And in time wasting, we decided to go for less often. I think for time wasting, like I always usually say, I think it's an in-game instruction. Depending on the outcome of the game, maybe you might be leading and decide to go for time wasting, or you might be losing woefully, maybe by 5 goals or 6 goals, and you just decide, okay, let's just time waste in order to end shots short. Okay, for attacking transition, we decided to go for counter attack. We had the option of old shape, standard, and counter attack, but Vincent Kompany tends to go for the counter attack option, so we decided to use that. For attacking width, we decided to go for narrower. The reason we went for this is so that because we're a high pressing team, so that most times when we lose the ball, the team will still be in a compact shape, and it's easier for them to win the ball back with a narrow shape than a wider shape. Okay, play for set piece, not necessary. Creative freedom, we decided to go for be more expressive, and for build up strategy, I think we decided to go play through press. And this build up strategy, this is play through press. This actually means that whenever the opposition presses you, how do you want to play? Do you want to play through the press, or you want to play long ball in order to lessen the pressure? But it's a company team tends to take more risks from the back. So for goal kicks, we decided to go for shots. Goalkeeper distribution, we decided to go for the center backs. For supporting run, we decided to go for balance. That's both flanks and underlap balance. Okay, that's overlap, both flanks, underlap, balance. And For dribbling, we decided to go for balance. For pass progress through, that's the way you want to build. You want to focus your attacking responsibility. We decided to go for both flanks because his team tends to play through the flank. That's why most of the time you usually see Ulisse on the ball, Diaz. And for pass reception, we decided to go for pass into space, which should bring a lot of through balls and vertical runs as well. Okay, for patience, we decided to go for standard. And okay, for patience, this is how you want. Do you want to eat early crosses or walk ball into box? We decided to go for balance. Let the team decide for themselves depending on the situation. And for shots from distance, we decided to go for balance, crossing style, balance. Okay, for out of possession team instruction, line of engagement, like we say, this team is a high pressing team. So we decided to go for the high press. Defensive line, we decided to go for the much higher. For trigger press, much more often. And defensive transition, counter press, went for the counter press. And that's in defensive transition is after you have lost the ball, what do you do? Do you fall back to regroup or do you counter press? So we decided to go for the counter press option. Tackling, we went for standard cross engagement, stop crosses. Pressing trap, we decided to go for trap outside. And for short goalkeeper distribution, this is concerning the opposition. This is concerning the opposition goalkeeper. Do you want him to build from the back or do you want to press so that the opposition goalkeeper actually goes long and they might end up losing the ball or you might end up winning the ball through the second man? Okay, so that's that for out of possession team instruction. So what do we go next to? Okay, I'll go to the results. Oh, is my fixture list? Okay, so for results, I actually started using this in preseason, and I was actually chopping and changing till I got the perfect results. I think I actually got the perfect one against often Man City. Yes, I actually got it against Man City. But even if we lost the game, okay, let me just go straight. Okay, at the Super Cup, we actually went 3-0. We won 3-0 against Stuttgart. The game was actually more open than I wanted it to be because of the high press and everything, and I was still trying to get my hands around it. So, as you can see, that's it. Okay, and okay, let me show you the Man City results. As you can see, away from home, we actually dominated with ball possession 57, corners 10. Our XG was much higher than Man City, and Man City actually scored from a very funny goal whereby Diaz Sevino had to run all the way from midfield to score, and total shots on target we had more than them, so that's it. That was where I started getting the formation really well, or actually applying the finishing touches. Okay, against Offline, I didn't know what just happened here. From 3-0, we ended up with 3-3, and then with a last minute goal from Michael Olise, we won by 4-3. Okay, you can see our shots, and we dominated this one as well. So I didn't even understand how we ended up playing a 4-3, but it was still good that we won 3 points. And then against Bayer Leverkusen, I think this should be the best match I had so far with this small sample size, where I had 19 shots to theirs, 10 to their 3, XG we dominated corners and ball possession. Actually, against Man City, I think that was where I made the change from Kane. But actually, Kane is injured, but I was using Nicholas Jackson. Okay, but then I actually changed Nicholas Jackson to a false nine, and that was why I started having this dominating results and the rest. So that's just it. And that's it for Vincent Kompany's style of play on FM26. So I'm actually looking for my tactics. That's what I was just looking for. Okay. That's it for Vincent Kompany. Aggressive 2-2-6 formation. And if you make use of it, you can post your results in the comment section. Please like, subscribe. Basically, just subscribe and like and leave a comment, because by doing all this or one of these, you're actually helping the channel and you're pushing me further. Thank you, and see you in the next video. And also, you can get the tactical download the tactical style in the description section. So thanks, love, peace and love. Take care.